Hey, Lizards, Gizmo here. I wanted to share some of the cigars we'll be smoking in April and May so you could smoke along with us if you'd like. For Cubans, we got Cohiba Siglo II, El Rey del Mundo Schwa Supreme, and Trinidad Colonialis coming up. And for New Worlds, we've got Padron 2000 Maduro, My Father the Judge, and Davidoff Late Hour in Churchill, with much, much more to come. Have a suggestion? Email us, loungelizardspod@gmail.com. That's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. And now let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Senator, Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some wine, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 23rd official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a New World cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We discuss questionable cigar marketing, pairing various wines with both cigars and food, and the pitfalls of driving with boxes of cigars on the roof of your car, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Robert Craig Howell Mountain Cuvee with My Father the Judge in Toro. A Toro Gordo tonight from My Father the Judge. This thing looks like a Snickers bar. Massive.
Like a sledgehammer.
I am very intimidated, I got to be honest. These have been in my humidor for some time now.
Yeah.
Acclimating, Bam. I think probably, 3-4 weeks since you got them,
Yeah,
right?
they do feel good.
They feel good. They certainly, when we got them, they were pretty wet, but now they feel good. I mean, this is, to me, a lot of guys go for this. To me, this is an intimidating cigar.
I like it in the shorter, little smaller size.
Yeah, they call that the Gran Robusto.
Yeah,
This one they call
it's tasty. Yeah.
It's I guess it's a Toro Gordo. It's 6x56. It is a beefy big stick. It's got 3 bands on it. Going back to the EP Carrillo, we talked about the foot band. It has one of those on it, which is made of like a fabric, and then it has the My Father band and an MF the Judge band. So
Nice rustic, kind of. It's a clean construction, but a little bit rustic finish.
It looks very nice.
It
Nice
does.
wrapper on it.
Yeah.
It smells great, but
Senator, I can't place the aroma on the foot. It's good, but I can't place it.
Yeah, I just it's the foot of this cigar smells actually really good.
Yeah.
And I say this because I think we're all a little skeptical and intrigued as to what we're going to get out of this giant stick. But the foot, you get like chocolate.
It's weird, but tasty. Nice aroma.
molasses.
Yeah, that's a good,
Yeah,
maybe a little raisin.
yeah.
All right, let's cut this thing. My Father, MF, the Judge on the band, 6x56.
Attractive bands.
Yeah, it looks good.
Nice.
Bands look nice. It's a Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan filler from various regions.
Yeah, take the footband off.
A
there,
Toro
Senator.
Gordo. Yeah, take the footband off before you light it, please. Senator will be getting the fire extinguisher out tonight. I mean, it's like a chocolate bar in your hand. It's to me, like I said, I know a lot of guys go for this size cigar. This, I would, thank God for the pod. This would never have been smoked in my existence had it not been for this podcast.
I will say every time I pick up, every time I see a Toro, I think of Pagoda. I feel like that's one of his favorite Vitolas.
Yeah, that used to be like, now I'm expanding my horizons, like they say. But having said that, yeah, this, Toros pretty much my go-to size. And even Gordos, like I really liked the ALR, which is also considered a Gordo. And
Oh,
Toros is used to be a very
Here we
comfortable
go.
size.
Yeah, here we go. All right, what are you guys getting on the cold draw this thing?
It's a nice cold draw.
Sweet, chocolatey?
It could be a promising smoke.
Well,
Right.
I'm more than anything, I'm intimidated by this cigar. It's just not something I would go for. It's not comfortable to me in my hand, but I guess we'll see how it smokes. Let's light this thing.
This is a Pepin Garcia's.
It
cigar,
is,
right?
Don. Yeah. Yeah. We can go through the family history and stuff. There's some cool stories about it. But 6x56, like I said. Comes in another size, a Gran Robusto that Bam Bam mentioned. Bam, I think this is probably as close to the famous double Toro as you can get.
It's a unicorn, man.
Yeah, this is a big stick, man. Bam, how much did you pay for these?
It's been a while. Maybe 16, 17
Yeah.
a stick.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing online. What's interesting about this, as we toasted here, this comes in a box of 23 cigars.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've never seen that before. Yeah, so you normally get a box of 20, 25.
Yeah.
Some come in 24s. I've never seen boxes of 23.
I've never purchased a box of these.
Yeah.
Always singles.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we're getting.
I didn't get much flavor at all.
It's actually quite pleasant right now.
Yeah, it's not aggressive to start.
No.
That was my big fear, honestly, lighting this up, that it was going
Yeah.
to be just smack you in your face, but not bad.
I'm not getting a ton of flavor, though.
You will on a retrohale. A little bit. I think that molasses raisin profile works here.
Yeah, a little molasses. Just a touch of milk chocolate, maybe.
Yeah.
Just a touch.
Quite nice.
Yeah. So my father has an interesting story. They were started in 1950 when Jose Pepin Garcia, he was a Cuban, like many of our New World cigar makers were, started in Cuba, and started rolling cigars himself at 11 years old, which wouldn't happen today, of course.
He's a lizard.
He's a lizard.
He is.
And then he decided in 2003 in Little Havana to start the My Father cigar brand. So started in Little Havana, obviously is a Nicaraguan cigar rolled in Nicaragua. It's My Father is a collaboration between him and his son, a combo offering from Jose and Jamie Garcia, his son.
Jamie Garcia.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what's cool about this, I saw that this cigar is actually named after a friend of the Garcia family who's a judge. So that's where they got the. I've always wondered, why is it MF the judge? And I guess it's a friend of the Garcia family. This obviously box pressed, as we can feel. What are you guys getting so far?
It's very smooth, very balanced.
Yeah.
you know?
Surprisingly, right?
It's not aggressive. I'm just getting a little bit of cocoa, little nuttiness, little salty on the finish, and that's it. But not super flavorful, but enough flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a bit earthy. I think the saltiness is definitely there.
It is there. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's not
So
offensive in any way.
They obviously make a bunch of cigars. We were talking before we came on about the Les Bijoux,
Yeah.
and Senator revolted when he heard that.
I still have PTSD from that cigar. I'm not kidding. I was in DC one night and we had dinner and a few cigars with dinner. It was at a place where you can smoke. And we left and then decided, oh, maybe one more smoke. So we went to another cigar lounge nearby. And after several drinks, I just foolishly, they had a list of CA top like 10 cigars that year. And that Le Bijou cigar was one of them. So I said, oh, I've never had this before. And I asked the guy, he said, it's a great cigar. You'll love it. So I just ordered it. And oh my God, the amount of nicotine and strength in that cigar after I had probably had 4 sticks before that, I felt horrible. It was not an enjoyable experience. But if that's going to be your only stick and you want an absolute flavor bomb, then that's your cigar, but not a cigar for me.
Gizmo, what's the smaller shape? What's the Vitola?
It's a 5x60, so it's actually a
what's it called?
thicker ring gauge. It's just, I think they call it a Grand Robusto.
Yeah. So I have had that cigar many times. The Le Bijou in that size, it's very nice.
Now we're looking at this. This is 56 ring gauge.
Yeah.
That's a 60 at 5 inches long.
Yeah. It's
I mean, obviously catering to the market. We know guys that go for these cigars, that love these cigars. I'm
Yeah,
just
they're all lawyers and judges.
I just like
They're
a smaller
gluttons.
ring gauge. I mean, I can't even in Padron or Davidoff. Davidoff I don't think makes anything like this crazy big, but Padron has that number 4 in the
Davidoff
1964. What does Davidoff have?
The Davidoff Piquant comes in a Gordo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's one of the only
Year of
60.
the Ox.
Yeah, there's another.
That came in as 60, I think.
Yeah.
I just don't reach for cigars that big, ever. Give me a 46. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who really like, the Gordos and the Toros and 56 and above. It's interesting. I used to do a lot of those as well. Yeah.
I got to say, I think this really benefited from being in the humidor for 3 to 4 weeks.
They were spongy when we first.
They were definitely spongy, but I mean the razor sharp burn on it. I feel like had they not come down in humidity from where they were, I think that definitely would have had a problem here.
And I think that may have something to do with the pleasantness of this cigar because I've had this at shops.
Yeah.
It's had more bite.
Really?
I think so. This. I'm actually enjoying this cigar right now. I can't say that I hate it.
So the Garcia family, I think, rolls most, or if not all, the Tatuajes.
I think that's
Oh,
true.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or is it the JC Newman?
No, it's the Garcia.
It's Garcia's.
Pepin,
Okay.
Pepin Garcia.
Got it.
There was a My Father's cigar where they did it for Davidoff's.
Oh, I've never.
It's just I
That's a-
haven't-
that's a
it's-
negative.
It's just coming. No, or it might have been for the Davidoff Lounge
Very well
in the
could be.
city. In the city, yeah.
Yeah, I've
no,
never heard
because,
that.
yeah, no, I'm.
Oh, you're
it's
saying
just
my father made it like for some like a Davidoff Lounge special or something
special
for
or
that.
something, Yeah.
That
I've
wouldn't
forgotten.
surprise me. I'm sure they sell a shitload of these.
Yeah, a lot of people really like that.
They do.
Yeah. And I mean, for the size, and I'm sure this is going to be a long smoke. I mean, we'll see where it takes us. But for the size, 16, 17
Yeah.
bucks. I mean,
It's a good value.
that is a good value so far. I think the flavor is it's not, as Puba would say, it's not offensive.
Not
you know?
offensive.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm encouraged by is obviously for a number of us, we don't like this large of a ring gauge. So we're not thrilled with the size, but that has nothing to do with the cigar, right? That's just what Bam was able to find at a local retailer.
Yeah.
If this were in a ring gauge that I'd like to smoke so far, this would be enjoyable. This is not bad
this,
at all.
this is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
from
Me
this
neither.
cigar.
Yeah,
Me neither.
absolutely.
I was expecting absolutely bold, spicy,
Yeah.
a lot of flavor. This is it has flavor, but it's very balanced, very medium.
Have you had this before?
Long time back.
Probably
I
a long
don't-
time back.
Yeah.
I think those of us that have had it haven't had it in a long time. We
yeah.
forgot about it.
And for what I remember,
Yeah.
like you just said earlier about the having a bit of a bite.
Mm.
I mean, this one doesn't.
No. The Gizmo Tower is calibrated.
It is. Very proud of my tower.
Is it catnip or cat litter?
Actually, they're beads. Silica beads.
Silica beads, yeah. That's the cat litter. That's what I use.
I like
Silica
that.
cat litter. Silica cat litter. So these came out. I would have thought these were long. For how much I've heard about them, I would have thought these have been out for a while. These only came out 6 years ago, November 16. They were announced at that trade show that year, and then started rolling out in November of that year. So,
Yeah, no. So there seems to be like a My Father Davidoff Bellicoso, and just reading a little bit about it, it's the cigar was a joint venture between Davidoff's GM, which is Michael Herklotz, and the Garcia family. I believe, Michael Herklotz is,
yeah, he has
Was,
Ferio
so-
Tego, right?
yeah.
So he used to work for
He
Davidoff,
used to work for Davidoff.
and
I
then
think.
he bought. It was the Nat Sherman, two of the Nat Sherman lines, right? Timeless and
Well, he worked for Nat Sherman.
Yeah,
After
I think-
Davidoff's, he moved to Nat Sherman, and then Nat Sherman, he was the VP of development for Nat Sherman. So,
Got it.
and it seemed like, he collaborated with the Garcia family to come up with, I guess, My Father Davidoff Bellicoso.
Interesting.
Never saw that anywhere.
Yeah.
No, I just remember I used to smoke a lot of Nat Sherman, and quite a few people would smoke My Father then. And I remember them talking about, have you tried the My Father version, which they'd done with Davidoff or for Davidoff. And it's one of those things, we're talking about it a few years later, and it just was somewhere in my mind, and it just came out as a comment. But it seems like that's true. So I've never tried it, though.
I have a weird note. I'm curious if any of you guys are getting this. I want to use the word like not mint, but something very similar in my mouth.
I like, for me, it's a metallic almost.
There's something like
Yeah.
I don't know what that flavor note is. It's not like minted like
Yeah, I guess I see a little bit. To me, it's an earthiness in the cigar, but if it is mint, it's very slight. But I see what you're saying.
Actually goes well with what we're drinking right now.
so.
I
Let's
agree.
talk about that because I haven't had a sip yet.
The
And
earthiness of the
I am
cigar
very
works
excited
with
about it. So we have a little red wine tonight from Senator Seller. And before we came on, he was so nervous that we were going to love this and go out and buy every bottle in town. He ordered himself another case.
This is true.
Some of us do like to buy things
In bulk.
in bulk.
I mean, look, this is where wine differs from any spirit, right? Macallan's going to taste the same every single year for hopefully the rest of our lives. In wine, it's all vintages, and once that vintage sells out, you will never be able to buy it again. So when you find a vintage you like, you make sure you stock up on it. And I know I like this vintage, so I said, well, shit, if I'm going to share it with the lizards and anyone else tries to buy some, I may as well stock up another case.
What's good about it, guys, is if we like it, he has 12 bottles coming. We could just split it amongst us.
There you go.
Everybody can get 3 or 4.
That's
Before
why I got it.
That's perfect.
before you launch into the wine details, I like that there's a dryness to it. I love that. It's fantastic.
So I'm so glad you picked up on that,
Yeah.
Bam, because I mean, look, California wines are extremely fruit forward.
That's really
And
nice.
My palate, and then French wines are very dry. And my palate, I like somewhere in between. So what we're drinking. It's Robert Craig Howell Mountain Cuvee. It's a red Bordeaux style blend. And so, this being a blend, a Bordeaux style blend, it's drier than your typical Napa cab, but still has some of those fruit notes that you're going to get, the dark fruit notes that you would get from Napa. And the wine is sourced from Howell Mountain, which is one of the 2 best Cabernet growing regions in all of Napa. That and Stag's Leap are the best. And the price point of this being a blend with grapes from that region is super affordable because anything from Howell Mountain starts at like 120 plus a bottle. Like that's just the entry point. And so to be able to find something that is significantly less than that I think is fairly reasonable for anyone to go pick up in a wine shop, dollar for dollar, I really like this.
How
bottle of
much?
wine.
I'm sorry. How much is a bottle?
So it retails at 50, but if you buy in quantity, I've gotten it as cheap as 35 a bottle.
I am surprised to hear that.
Dude, for a blend, it's a complex, it tastes and drinks like a very complex wine.
It does.
Yeah. That the dark, like the currant I get.
Yeah.
Currant and that dryness, it creates a very nice complex mixture. Beautiful.
I like that it's not super sweet.
Well, the fruitiness is
I
not
like
fruit
that.
forward. like
Yeah,
you said.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think the cigar, not to go back to the cigar, but just a quick note about the pairing. I think the cigar is really benefiting from the flavor profile of this wine.
And I get in the wine a little bit of an earthiness to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works with the earth tones of the stick.
That's the
Quite
thing.
cool.
It's hard to find a bottle of wine under $50 where you're going to get complexity. Like, we all love Oberon as an everyday bottle, but what that is just a fruit forward wine. That's all you get out of Oberon.
It's delicious, but it's not a complex
Not
wine.
at all.
No.
Tasty, but like you said, this, you get the dark fruit, you get currant, like Bam said,
Yeah.
you get some earthiness out of it, and on the finish, you're actually going to get some cocoa.
Ooh.
That's a complex wine, and it's not super sweet like a lot of Napa wines are. And so for my palate, I really, really like this. This was one of the bottles I served with Thanksgiving this past Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Fantastic.
So, what do you know the blend?
That's a great question.
So while you're saying that, the thing I want to say about this wine as a novice, I only know what we've all kind of been learning together on the pod here about wine. I'm not a wine guy.
Neither am I.
I think this is a wine that cigar smokers could really appreciate because it's not pushing too hard to overtake your mouth and drown out whatever your cigar is doing.
Dare I say it's a more masculine wine? Kind of feel that way because of the dryness.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What?
Like you said, it's not fruit forward, right? So it's not very
It's
sweet.
just personal taste. I mean, there are women I'm sure who like dry wine. Like, I don't
Please
know.
consider gender equality.
You got it. I retract my statement.
Yeah, this is very, very good. Senator, I know it's luck because you haven't had this cigar before, right?
Good pairing.
It's a really nice pairing with this.
It is.
You know,
It really is.
because this cigar is not as strong or as full yet as I would have expected.
Agree.
So I think it's working quite well.
So yeah, back to Rooster's question. I mean, they don't specify, they don't divulge the percentages of each, but a typical Bordeaux blend has Cab, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. So there's some combination of those
Oh, wow.
in this blend. But the Cab I know is from Howell Mountain because Robert Craig, they make a Cabernet from Howell Mountain. It's like 120 something a bottle. And that's where their property is. That's obviously where the grapes are from. So that's why for me, I'm always looking for, when you can find a really good value in wine, and that's when you want to stock up. And for $35, if you buy in quantity, I don't think you'll find a better bottle of red wine.
Yeah, that's great.
So what are you pairing this with food-wise? Like you said you had it with Thanksgiving. What aspect of Thanksgiving dinner, like for the listener out there who's thinking, I'm going to
Like chicken Savoy.
Oh, Jesus.
dry chicken Savoy. What are you pairing this with?
Yeah. So really anything that you want some structure with the meal that you're having, but you don't necessarily want too much or aggressive structure. So like for me, there are certain wines I'm going to reach for when I'm having a steak, because that's when you want something super bold. When you're having, turkey on Thanksgiving and a whole bunch of, savory sides, or if you're having
Pork loin.
if you're having chicken, if you're having even a heavier fish like salmon, and you're really wanting red wine, you don't want something that's going to overpower that, because none of those foods are particularly heavy like a steak would be, or any sort of red meat. So that's what I was looking for. And that's why I prefer to serve a blend for a red on Thanksgiving, as well as a Pinot, which is an obvious choice, as opposed to just 100% Cab, where it's going to be a lot more aggressive, that may overtake the meal.
For me personally, I prefer a drier wine with a steak. I think this would pair well for me personally with a really beautiful cut of meat. Yeah.
It
I
tastes
agree.
tastes like a French wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
not from
That's right.
not a Napa Valley.
Yes.
European wines are drier, right? So
Right.
yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
I find it to be very satisfying too. Like I feel like I'm sipping it slower than I would like an Oberon or something that's
Sure.
fruit forward. Like I feel like my mouth is at like once less.
Yeah.
Then-
Like it coats your mouth in
Yeah.
a way that, Oberon, a very simple Cab, it just drinks so easy. It's
just
not,
keep going.
It's not
Keep-
rich. It's
Yeah.
not viscous. Like, you've heard when we've done
The
scotch,
legs.
just literally
Legs,
just
yeah.
go like this in your glass, and you're just going to see how it kind of clings to the glass. Like there's some viscosity to it. And so it's just that structure that you drink it slower, you appreciate it more. But I'll say, Bam, I mean, with a steak, their Howell Mountain Cab, just
Oh,
pure 100% Cab.
I am gonna try that.
So good.
I'm gonna
And
try that.
I've got plenty more. Cade
I'll take one.
is the best vineyard in Howell Mountain, in my opinion. I think a lot of people agree with me on this. And with a steak, Cade Howell Mountain
Oh, wow.
Cab is
Nice.
outstanding.
Wow.
I've ordered it. I usually order that in a steakhouse if it's on their menu. Really good bottle of wine.
Fantastic. Good to know.
So this is for its size, it's certainly burning a lot faster than I expected, and I mean that in a good way. But it's sharp. Like I'm not.
Very crisp burn, right?
Yeah, I'm
Nice
not having to
ash,
touch it up. I'm not.
Good construction.
The ash is really holding on too.
The note hasn't changed. It's a consistent profile, right? So
Yeah,
far.
so far.
Single note.
Pretty wild.
I think a good cigar.
It is good.
Yeah.
I think because of its size, I don't think that I would probably reach for this again.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, it's not. I mean, all the things I think we came in thinking about this cigar, I think
Have been dispelled.
we were wrong. I certainly was.
Yeah.
A lot of flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistent though.
Yeah.
Single note.
I'm really shocked by this cigar.
Yeah.
I honestly thought I was going to hate this.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah.
I know Pooba thought he was going to hate it.
That's why I didn't show up.
Damn.
So I saw, by the way, speaking of New Worlds, Senator, I know that you and Pagoda both took advantage, but I see a lot of retailers. I'm getting a lot of notifications on stuff I've been looking for that they're starting to pop up a little bit more than they've been over the last year. Like I've gotten 3, 4, 5 notifications in the past week of like, hey, the product you were looking for is available, be it Padron, Davidoff, Tatuaje even. So I that's a good sign to me that maybe there's some normalcy on the horizon here,
Well,
It's a good sign, and I'm sorry. Some people may disagree with me on this, but obviously all we've heard since this pandemic is this hysteria about how it's going to be impossible to find cigars and all the challenges obviously that COVID's brought, and all of that's legitimate. But let's understand the countries that these cigars are coming from. This is a big part of their economy. They're going to find ways to make it happen. They're resilient people, like many are. And I think we continue to see it. This stuff keeps popping up. We're very grateful that we're able to find and source a lot of what we want. But to what you just said, Giz, I feel like almost every site that we buy New World sticks from very recently has had all the Padrones back in stock that we've been looking for,
Yep.
plenty of other stuff. So it's very encouraging.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
it's a good thing because I was nervous. I mean, I stocked up. We all did on a lot of Padron and stuff, but it seems like they're popping up a lot more.
Yeah, it's a lot of hysteria. I feel like it's, when there's snow and you go to the supermarket and it's like everything's gone, people think the apocalypse is coming. We're going to always be able to get cigars.
It's true.
So I saw the other day, I don't think I sent you guys this article. Half Wheeled, who does a lot of reviews and stuff, and I think they have questionable opinions about Cubans, but
Yeah, they're anti-Cuban.
that's my, I guess that's my opinion. I think some of their opinions about Cuban cigars is a little wild, but they put up an article the other day, and I'm curious what you guys think about this. About it was like an opinion piece about marketing cigars to kids, and we've talked about this before, like more so like the way that the FDA is trying to crack down on premium cigars, and Carlito Fuente and Jorge Padron and Rocky Patel, they've been pretty aggressively bonding, coming together to go and fight the FDA on regulating cigars.
Yeah, just one important clarification.
Yeah,
They're not trying to crack down on premium cigars. They're lumping in
exactly.
mistakenly,
But-
foolishly, premium cigars with everything else,
Mm-hmm.
and not understanding that there's a gigantic distinction
Yes.
You're
between what we
100%
smoke
right.
and like a random plastic tip cigar you go buy in a gas station, or some of this flavored crap that might appeal to a child.
Right.
So the reason why you're 100% right, the reason why Half Wheel created this article, it's called 10 Thoughts, Please Stop Marketing Cigars to Children. And it was a comment on flavored cigars, which we've obviously talked about acid and other things in the past. Apparently some brand, Jasum Kral, sent out a press release announcing a flavored cigar, like a Rocky Road ice cream flavored cigar, a premium hand-rolled cigar. And the other thing, too, is you've seen those...
Is it made by acid?
I don't know. You've seen those Pravada Cigar Club things come out where it's like the Cookie Monster, and there's a Cookie Monster face on the cigar, and there's an Elmo. And to me, it's like, I can't disagree with this guy. I think he's on the money. Like, you're just baiting the FDA to lump these in, saying, all right, well, you're putting a picture of the Cookie Monster on a cigar. You think it's funny, but I think that's a valid argument.
I think it's absurd.
I 100% agree. And the irony of this is taking how I feel about the impact that something like that has on children, but just my own personal preference, right? We've talked about this a lot. I think we're purists when it comes to cigars, just like a lot of products. It's why we appreciate, single malt scotch. It's why we appreciate, wine that people themselves make with their hands, these hand-rolled cigars that we smoke, and that everything in this cigar is natural and comes from the soil. I don't appreciate, and I'm sorry, I know some will disagree. I think it's a complete bastardization of cigars to be adding in artificial flavoring and just all this silly crap that we don't need. And then you add to it, it invites, exactly like, Giz said this article mentions, it invites a lot of regulation when you're making these flavored cigars that sure would sound appealing. What kid wouldn't think it sounds cool to smoke something that's cookies and cream flavored, and then
Right.
they're feeling like they're smoking something like a cigarette. Like that's not what this hobby's about.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with the premise of that piece. And I don't think it's helpful to any cigar smoker that
It's-
stuff
That
exists.
product, that kind of a product is not a cigar. It really isn't. It doesn't belong in the conversation.
Totally.
Then-
and you know, the
and-
price of a premium cigar that we're paying, you know, that's not what kids are able to go out and grab. I mean,
Right.
unless they have dad's Amex card or mom's Amex card or something. But I mean, the price, but that's not FDA's argument. It's the marketing and it's the labeling. Like I'm looking at United Cigar put out a cigar box.
Who is United Cigar?
I'm not certain.
Yeah,
here.
we don't know who they are.
I can look here. I'm just looking at this Half Wheel article. United Cigar and JRE create Aladino limited cigar bar, and the packaging is literally a chocolate bar. It's
ridiculous.
It's packaged like a chocolate bar, and it's to me that is now you're putting Padron and Fuente and Davidoff and Tatuaje and My Father. You're lumping them into being
Like every industry, there are companies that bastardize what that industry does. There has to be an initiative industry-wide to separate themselves from those type of firms and companies.
yeah.
and
It doesn't
you know,
matter. It doesn't matter what you do.
But when was the last time you saw an 11-year-old child smoke a cigar?
Right.
Never.
Right.
You
But
ever
that-
seen one?
Never.
But you know what?
So-
But
Bingo.
that's not the FDA's argument.
No. But Rooster makes a good point in the sense that exactly the argument Rooster just made there is how the Premium Cigar Association, that's the trade association in DC that represents a lot of these big tobacco, these big cigar manufacturers and others, how they have successfully, when there's been regulation around, you know, tobacco products, especially with the rise of e-cigarettes and things like that, they've always successfully eventually got carved out of these regulations premium hand-rolled cigars that we smoke.
They
Because
distinguish
the
themselves.
exact point that
Yeah.
Rooster made, they say, if you want to say there are kids walking down the street with a jewel that are underage, okay, that's a real thing that exists.
Yeah.
If you want to say that there's someone smoking some flavored crap that is not a cigar, not a real cigar, yeah, sure, that exists. Name me one 10-year-old you've seen walk down the street with a My Father the Judge in their hand.
No.
And when they realize that, these lawmakers recognize, okay, we do need to treat them separately. But as you have cigar manufacturers start to make some of this stuff that very easily can fall in the hands of a 10-year-old, that's a problem for the industry that they want no part of.
Absolutely.
And it's not even about selling the cigars. It's about marketing the cigars.
Mhm.
That's the FDA's
The way
argument.
they're marketed.
And you know,
Yeah.
and I saw. I don't know if you guys saw. I know Carlito Fuente runs his own Instagram page, and he put up. I don't know if you saw this about a week ago. He was teeing off on his Instagram about people in the industry not putting up enough of an effort to help fight this type of regulation. And I think that, you know, you look at what happened in Canada. There's no embargo in Canada. You can buy any Cuban cigar. Let's ignore the tax argument. I don't want to talk about tax. They literally, you have to put a custom band as a retailer or manufacturer. You have to put a custom band over this ornate My Father label. There's a custom band
To cover
of
that.
one
Yeah.
font of one color to not allow the eye to be drawn to a good-looking band.
So that's their solution.
That's their solution.
Can I just read an excerpt from Carlito's
Oh, it's incredible.
Instagram?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, this is one of the most hardcore statements I've ever seen. So Carlito Fuente posts, never ever has a premium handmade cigar before targeted to the youth, but only those that understand and appreciate the artisan works of love, history, and simply appreciate the good stuff that God gave earth for us to enjoy. Enough is enough, assholes. Your selfishness will take us all down. And he's calling out people that are essentially making stuff that can very easily be marketed and targeted toward youth and saying, we want no part of that. You're going to ruin the whole industry that is clearly an adult product that has no appeal whatsoever to a child.
Yeah. And to that point too, maybe he's calling out Pravada, but there's a lot of retailers around the country who are very proud to be members of the Pravada Cigar Club, and they offer these cigars that are very scarce and hard to find, and you can go in and buy a couple of them. They offered a cream cigar, which is a vanilla chocolate swirl.
What?
Cream
from
cigar?
Pravada.
I'm
Cream
all over
cigar.
that.
I mean, it's just you're playing right into the hand
Yeah, it's
That's
of the
absurd.
FDA.
I
Not
was about to say
necessary.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a reputable company like that to be producing a cigar, it's just like that.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
But check this out. What do you think Cuba in cigar sales does like each year?
How many
Any
billion?
How many million? How many billion? How many?
I'm gonna say-
What's your guess?
I'm gonna say.
You might have read it, but
No, I
don't know
haven't.
if
I'm
you-
guessing. I'm gonna say 2 billion.
Senator.
$1 billion.
750 million.
It's actually $500 million. Only,
Really?
Only.
Wow.
Half
Wow.
a billion.
That's
Wow.
less than I thought.
That's
Wow.
just the
Yeah.
lizard budget.
531
It is.
million.
Just kidding.
That's shocking.
Seems low, right?
I hear the
does.
flavored cigars do more, but
Yeah, right.
It does. Wow.
I don't know what the Nicaraguan sales or the Honduran market is.
Well, I
but,
saw it. Cigar Aficionado put out that it's a record number of imports of cigars over the last year or two. So, I think Nicaraguan and Dominican cigars and New World cigars are performing very well.
yeah.
But the United States is a huge market, and
Sure.
Cubans, if that was open to Cuba, I mean,
Right.
who knows what kind of volume they would do or what kind of problems we would have getting them.
Yeah, I mean,
just from a
I think
supply
about 30
standpoint.
to 40% come here anyway.
I know.
Majority,
From the
I
gray
think,
market.
I think Spain is the number one market, and then
Garcon is walking around filling our wine glasses. Thank you, Senator.
Isn't Padron at about 150 million a year?
Yeah, I would assume that's somewhere around there.
Something like that.
Just
Alone.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny about them is you can't. I think Senator was talking about this. Maybe Pagoda was as well. You can't really find a Padron cigar outside of North America.
Yeah.
If you go to UK or Europe or
Yeah, both Senator and Pagoda mentioned that last time. If you're in Asia, you will not find a Padron.
yeah, and I know those guys pay a significant premium to get it, shipped over from here. So it's similar to what we have to pay for
hey, you're giving
For
away my
Cubans.
business idea. Please.
exporting Padrones.
I'm an importer exporter.
Pagoda Kramer. Or was that Costanza?
Costanza.
That was Costanza. Sorry.
Art Van Dyke.
So
That's
we're about halfway through here on the Judge. What are you guys thinking so far? Not much has changed so far
Nope.
for me.
Consistent.
Yeah, it's a lot creamier and smoother than I expected, but I'm not getting a ton of flavor per se.
Same here.
Yeah,
I kind
it's-
of agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting a lot of flavor.
You could
I
say
don't
it's a
know
bit
whether-
muddled, maybe.
Yeah,
A bit.
I was expecting a lot of spice, which I'm not getting at all. I mean, there's like no spice. It's
I will say I'm
It's
getting
sweet.
a bit of ammonia right now. Just
Yeah,
a
really?
touch.
okay.
I'm getting
blow
mid-
through it, blow through the cigar,
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
just blow it out, and they'll get all the stale ammonia smell out.
Never done that.
So I've had my father the Opulencia, which I remember really liking it. I think I'm going to go and at least definitely try it again next week or something, just to try and compare.
I saw that the Cigar of the Year, Cigar Aficionado Cigar of the Year 2012, 10 years ago now, was given to my father for Flor de las Antillas.
Yeah, I've had that stick.
What is that like?
It's actually pretty good. It's a cheap stick. Like it's a good everyday stick. It's medium in strength. Has a little spice, some earthy, nutty notes. It's not a bad cigar.
Was this ranked this year?
It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really?
So I'm positive because I just was reading this the other day.
And we went through it on that podcast.
We did.
The Hoya.
Yeah,
the Hoya
it's in the top 25, and it's the Grand Robusto that was in the top
Okay.
25.
Different Vitola.
I'll tell you. I'm going to look right now. I'll tell you what number it was.
Interesting.
There it is. Cigar Aficionado top 25. Let me see what it is.
Ironically, with an order I recently placed on Fox Cigars, I got a free Grand Robusto of this.
Really?
Oh, wow.
This was number 17 in Gran Robusto this
That's
year. Number
pretty,
17.
Pretty high praise.
Yeah.
Got a 93 rating from them.
Wow.
My father's cigars are usually in the top 25.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, if you look at like the last
Yeah.
maybe like 7 or 8 years, I mean, they're always
It's-
one one or the other Vitolas. in
Very
there.
popular cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this checks the box for someone who likes a big ring gauge but doesn't want something that kicks their ass when they're smoking it. This is that cigar for them.
The thing I'm encouraged by with this cigar, and this is really the utility for me personally when we do these new worlds that we don't normally smoke, is when you are traveling or somewhere and you pop into a cigar lounge and you can't bring your own stuff and you have to buy something there. I really struggle when they don't have things that I normally pick up, like Padron or Davidoff, and I have to choose outside of that. I never know what to get. And I'm encouraged having this. I've always been intimidated by ever trying to pick one of these up because I thought if I walk in there in the afternoon, this is going to be way more aggressive than I'm looking for. But halfway through this, for random occasion, I pop in a retailer, I need to buy something. This is not aggressive. It's smooth. This is not a bad stick.
It's a good point. There's something to be said about this, right? It's the production volume is very high. It's very consistently made, beautifully made. And like you said, if you're away and you can't find a stick and that's sitting looking at you, good choice. It's a good choice.
What's interesting is Cigar Aficionado said that they commented that one of the reasons why this line is so successful, specifically the Gran Robusto, is that it's supposed to be a much fuller cigar from my father. I'm not getting that with this.
No, I'm sure that's because the ring gauge is smaller. Right?
Yeah.
And you're getting
Could
a
be.
more concentrated flavor. I'm
Could
guessing,
be.
yeah.
I mean, would you guys call this? What would you call this? Medium?
Yeah,
I wouldn't call this full.
Yeah. No, it's not full. I don't think it's full.
I mean, maybe it benefited from being at a lower humidity. I don't know.
Benefited from that gizmo locker.
I think everything about this is medium, even the smoke output.
So speaking of sticks that I have been given for free recently,
Ooh.
with a non-Fox cigar order, a Bodyguard was shared with me that has
Tell the people what a Bodyguard is.
it's when you place an order and you have a very generous seller who wants to thank you for your purchase. They may have a loose stick or two that they'll include with your order as a thank you.
Okay.
And
So what'd you come up with? What'd you get?
something with tremendous age, that's still in cellophane, that looks insanely old.
Wow.
And I want to give one of them to someone who's given a lot of these types of cigars. Pass this over to Rooster.
Oh, I thought it was for me.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, Gizmo. You don't qualify. You have to be a
Are
true
you
connoisseur.
serious?
What
Dude,
is
I
that?
couldn't believe it.
Rocky
he
Patel.
meant me. Not you.
Yes.
Sorry. Talk. What is it, Rooster?
Why don't
Tell
you,
us.
why don't you, read,
That's,
why don't you read the label to us, Rooster?
It's a fucking Rocky Patel.
It is not. It is not.
It's not?
If you read it, it is not. It's a different one.
It's Patel something.
This is why we need a video podcast.
It's Patel family. Oh, it's his brother.
It's a
It's
brother.
Oh.
a,
Neil
it's, a,
Patel.
it's a Nish or Neil Patel
Nish,
cigar.
yeah.
Fantastic
Patel.
cigar.
Oh, by the way, I've incidentally had a really long conversation with his brother. We were in Nat Sherman, and we were four of us talking, and Nat Sherman had this, they had a couple of leather chairs in the middle of the store, and this is before they got rid of them. And four of us were just sitting and talking, and this individual seemed to know a lot about cigars. Now we're talking about for over an hour and a half or two, and the guy gets deeper and deeper and deeper into cigars, the cigar production. And it was such a great conversation. And then I remember telling him, I said, who the fuck are you? And he says, then he introduced himself. He had actually come to Nat Sherman to talk about one of the cigars he was introducing. I wasn't at that event. I had to leave early, but oh well, there it is.
All right, I gave the cigar to the wrong lizard. Give the Nish Patel cigar to
Yeah.
Pagoda.
No.
Pass
I'm
it
all right,
back.
thank you.
Rooster, are you going to smoke that tonight after this? Or,
Yes, I'm gonna actually.
he's going to put it in the fireplace. That's how he's going to smoke
Yeah,
it.
listen, the best cigar is always the free cigar.
That's true. That's
And
true.
I think you can share it with Pooba. I think he's really going to enjoy it.
Pagoda, that's a pretty cool story, I have to say. We don't get a chance to sit with true aficionados.
yeah, that's cool.
It's cool to have that opportunity. It's very nice.
He's
Especially
an
from a-
aficionado.
Especially
Wow.
from a production standpoint, it's cool to learn I would love to really understand, and I don't know if he would ever tell you, but how, Padron, we always talk about Padron, but how they've just completely streamlined making every cigar perfect. That's got to be very difficult to do.
They've got QC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's machine manufactured. I'm kidding, please.
So, Senator, you gave us some more of this wine. I really like this wine.
I'm telling you, it's good stuff. It defies, like Rooster said, the Napa stereotype of being super sweet, super fruit forward. It's perfectly balanced.
You know, and call me crazy, but when I order fish, like you said, I don't order a white wine. I always order a red. This would absolutely be great. I love a piece of salmon. I think this would be great with a piece of salmon.
But a lighter red.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't order like a Cabernet something.
Yeah,
Beaujolais or
with salmon, you can have like a red blend with a little more structure, but with a white fish, you have to Rooster's point, you have to go with like a Pinot, something like.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this wine has fruit, but the finish is dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do get
Which
that
is like
touch
a
of
Bordeaux.
Taste of
that little tiny touch of cocoa at the end. That's there.
Yep.
I'm surprised.
I only wish I hadn't brushed my teeth before.
Are you getting mint?
I'm kidding.
I got to. The one thing I will say about this cigar that's definitely knocking it down a notch for me is the smoke output's not great.
What?
My smoke output is it's mediocre.
Yeah.
My smoke output is huge.
Same guess.
Yeah,
And the draw is a little.
it's a little tight.
A little tight.
Definitely.
So-
I'm not appreciating the
Yeah, I'm with Senator. My combustion and smoke output's great. The draw is fantastic.
Yeah, my draw is wide open.
Yeah.
I think for
Wide
me
open.
my draw is fine. It's
Draws.
a perfect amount of resistance for me. Maybe his is a little tighter, but the combustion and smoke output for me is not what I would expect from a cigar this size.
Yeah.
Yeah, then maybe a consistency issue because I
Could
mean
be, very
ours
well
are the
could be.
exact opposite.
Pagoda, how's your combustion and smoke output?
Very little, just like yours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I find it to be mediocre at best.
No.
And for a new world, I kind of find it surprising.
Yeah, especially with the thick wrapper like this.
You're getting the opposite here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's no number 9.
Yeah, maybe the vintage stick that
I was just thinking,
Senator gave
Pagoda, I
me
was just
might be
thinking about the
better.
Liga number 9. That night with the Liga, we couldn't stop smoking that cigar.
We couldn't see each other.
We literally could not see.
well,
each other.
that's
It was so good.
yeah.
Every puff was delicious.
was a great cigar.
That's why this room was full.
The only thing about that cigar, like we said, it was like this for me. It was a little too big. Like the Corona, I like the Corona a little better. Not as much smoke output, but that was ridiculous. I mean, Puba's eyes were like watering over here.
all of us.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That cigar produces more smoke than I would argue any cigar we've ever had.
Yeah,
Easily.
it's wild.
So I'm not sure. I think one of the listeners, a buddy of mine who listened to the episode, mentioned that he believes that they spray something on that stick to give it the sheen, and it kind of adds to the smoke output. I'm not sure.
I feel like
that's something we
Grinder
should
may have
look
said
into.
something.
Yeah,
about
we
that.
read something. That's
Yeah.
correct. We did read something about that. It like accelerates the fermentation. Something it involves the fermentation process. They do spray something on it.
You mean like ghee?
Sugar water.
Well, that's very healthy and great for a keto diet.
Clarified butter?
So you guys ready to do a formal? I wouldn't call it a liquor rating, but the FLR on the wine tonight.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I am certainly ready. I'm very happy with this. Bam Bam, you're up.
I'm giving this an 8.
Okay.
I'm giving it a 7.
The wine?
Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
Oh
please.
my
Oh, get out.
All right, his allocation of your case, I want it.
He's out.
All right, so
He's
eight,
out.
He's cut out of the will.
eight for Bam, 7 for Pagoda,
I'm giving it a 9.
9.
Well
I'm
done.
also giving it a 9. I think it's fantastic.
Same 9.
Okay, excellent. So the formal liquor rating on the non-liquor, what is this again? Robert Howell?
Robert Craig.
Robert Craig, Howell Mountain, is an 8.4.
That's good.
That's a
I
great
actually,
score.
You know, it's
That's a
so
fair
funny
score.
because if I could give it a decimal, it'd be an 8.5. So I love that score.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
score.
that's a good score.
Yeah.
8.4. Yeah, it's great wine.
Now, again, as to why, because I want to hear, especially the lower scores. For me, I'm probably on behalf of the 9s in the room. It's very hard to make a wine like this in Napa Valley. Very hard. I mean, I would argue there are very few that are able to achieve that, where it's not a fruit bomb and it has the complexity and the dryness that you get from a Bordeaux, but not too dry, which is why there's a lot of Bordeauxs I really, really dislike. The price point is also, I think, outrageous for like the quality wine you're getting. The fact that you can source this for $35 a bottle,
That's fantastic.
You'll never find a bottle
Yeah,
at 35
it's
that's like this.
fantastic. Yeah. So I'm right under a 9. For me, an elite score is between a 9 and a 10 for anything that we consume. I think for this, an 8 is a respectable score. I happen to love this what we're drinking tonight. It's really, really good. The complexity.
What did you guys rate the Oberon?
No,
No.
that was
No.
No.
that was before we
Right.
we started doing the ratings. I think that would rate higher. I'll be honest, but
Oh, I would. I'm sorry. And Rooster, I just had the same reaction I did. Oberon for me would be an 8.
but I think
I was
think,
about to say I like this better than the Oberon.
I think
I
a
do.
composite lizard score I think would be higher than an 8.4 for Oberon.
I don't.
You don't think so?
No.
No,
I think it
there's
would-
no
it
one
would
in the
be an
room that will
8.
give it a 9. We
That's
have
fair.
3
Oh,
nines.
no,
That's
no,
fair.
no.
It will
That's
of
fair.
course be lower.
All right,
That's
forgive
100%.
me. You're
Yep.
you're correct.
I do like
You're
this
correct.
better than the Oberon. The Oberon's fantastic. It's a different wine.
I've
It's
just
a
been
simple
drinking
one.
so much of it. I love it.
I do too.
Yeah,
It's candy. It's just a very
Yeah.
simple wine.
Easily drinkable. Yeah.
I'm a simple guy. Simple
Now,
wine.
Pagoda 7. What's going on here?
Sure. Listen, firstly, I don't have a really refined palate. Saying that up front, I think I found it very, as opposed to what a lot of you guys were saying, I found it very fruity and flavorful right in my mouth. And I wasn't getting the same kind of dryness you guys were getting. So it was just like a slush of fruit just going in. And I felt that I was looking for something more. And I was looking for the dryness you were talking about, and I tried to focus on that attention. I was trying to pay attention to it. Just didn't get that. And listen, I did brush my teeth before coming over here. So listen,
Honestly, that impacts things
that
a lot.
impact,
Yeah,
it does,
it does.
especially wine. And so please excuse me for this score, but I have to be true to what I've been feeling and experiencing today.
All right.
So-
I won't completely cut you out of the will, Pagoda. I'll blame it on the toothpaste.
I mean, there is dryness, but the dryness is on the finish. You
Yeah.
know, it's not in the beginning.
Right.
You get some fruit. It's fruit forward with a dry finish.
I don't.
which is the definition of a Bordeaux.
Yeah, the only fruit that I get from this is a really beautiful deep currant,
Yeah.
which I really love. Really love that.
I love the dryness of it.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect with a cigar.
Yep.
I think it's smooth. It's just I don't know how to describe it as someone who doesn't know wine, but it's kind of hitting that note when I don't want too much out of the wine. I just want it to serve the cigar as opposed to, needing the wine to kind of be the headline act.
Yep.
It's doing a great
Yeah.
job.
Well said.
I'll give an analogy. It's the Paul Roger of red wine.
There you go.
Yeah, that's-
Paul Roger,
okay, that's fair.
Paul Roger starts with a little sweetness and it finishes dry.
Yeah.
And it is, again, you're figuring out my palate by what I offer up here, right? Paul Roger is right in the middle between a really, really dry champagne and a sweeter champagne like a Veuve Clicquot or something even sweeter than that. And this wine also is right in the middle of a very dry Bordeaux, a French Bordeaux, and a traditional Napa Cab.
This would go really well with the Boniello's mussels.
In red sauce.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Would have to be red sauce.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Gizmo.
Look at this
Gizmo
stuff.
has a malfunction.
I am shocked right now
Oh.
as we're coming, we're in the last third here of this cigar,
Yeah.
and my wrapper has completely outdone it.
Looks like a
itself.
scroll. Looks like an
I mean,
art scroll.
it does. It looks like I'm about to read like a.
A reading from the Lizard Scroll.
That's
Yes.
right. That's
I
right.
mean,
Guys, you
this
got to
is-
stop chewing the cigar, please.
This is not good.
Oh,
Like I'm
boy.
literally, I'm taking the whole wrapper off. Look at this.
Oh, that's
The whole wrapper just came off.
What did you do to upset the universe today, Gizmo?
Well, you didn't like a Gordo. Now it's a little
Why don't you
thinner.
take a bite of that
Did you
wrapper?
put these on the top of your car again?
Can we please
All right,
tell
tell
that
the story. Okay, all right, okay.
Okay.
So I purchased some wonderful, perfect 7-year aged 2015 boxes of Partagas Series D number 5s. I purchased 3 boxes for Senator Bam Bam and myself. And the last time I was coming, were we going here or were we going to the clubhouse?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Going to the clubhouse, and we were going to sit down as we do. We don't just get together for the pod. We get together quite a bit. I was telling somebody today, I think I see Pagoda 3-4 times a week. You know, more than almost anybody in my life. I see the lizards,
More
and
than we see our wives.
yeah, that is calculated, by the way, on purpose.
Please edit. Please edit.
So I was rushing out of the house, and I packed up our boxes that had come in for the guys, and all of a sudden I'm pulling out of my driveway, driving down the street, and my neighbor is like flashing his lights at me, and I'm like, what the hell? And I look out my rearview mirror, and I see just shit flying off the top of my car, and then it hit me that not only did I put my Sotolo case with all my really good cigars in it, I had put 2 boxes of these HD5s on top of that.
That he was supposed to be delivering to.
That I was supposed to be delivering to the
To
guys.
us.
So I then jumped out of my car in a panic and tried to find 20 aged, perfect, beautiful D5s off the street.
Were you
And,
actually hunting for cigars on the street?
I found 16 out of 20.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow.
I don't know where 4 of them went. It was that bad. Like the boxes flew off the top of my car.
I think your neighbor has them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we went through them. Senator and I went through them. He and I were there first when I got there, and yeah, there
I think
were only
what,
three or
Yeah,
four were
3 or 4
salvageable.
were salvageable out of 20.
Horrible.
It's crazy.
That's
Horrible.
Thank
So
God
it's-
they were insured, huh?
Yeah, they were insured by me. I had to take care of the guys, but yeah, it was just stupid, man. You know, just running out of the house. But I destroyed 20 really vintage, nice aged Cubans.
So the lesson is never put cigar boxes on top of your car.
The lesson is don't be on the phone, rushing, trying to get out, trying to get to a cigar. You know,
Don't multitask.
Yeah, don't multitask.
Yeah.
And like Rooster said, never put cigars on the roof of your car.
Yeah.
So now you made good. You gave us all new D5s.
You got D5s. I gave
Yeah.
Senator.
I had one the other day. It was fabulous. Yeah. I
It's a
enjoyed
good
it.
stick.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, boys, we're coming to the end here of the My Father, the Judge, Toro Gordo, and
Without wrapper.
Without a wrapper.
I can't even smoke mine anymore. The binder is in my mouth, and it is not delicious. So let's do a rating. Let's see what we get. Rooster, you're up.
So yeah, I mean it's an okay stick.
Yeah.
I'm not loving it. I mean, I expected a lot of flavor, you know, a little bit of spice to it. There was none of that. There was not much spice. I mean, it's just an okay stick. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay. I am going to give mine. I have not had a cigar unravel like that.
A 2.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Flavor was decent. Everything about it was as middle of the road as you can be. And so I'm going to give the cigar a 5.
Wow.
I'm with Rooster. I'm going to give it a 6.
Pagoda?
5 for me. Very flat. I didn't get the flavor. Didn't like the smoke output. Yeah, and I've had better experiences with my father on the different lines, and like I mentioned, I think I remember having really enjoying the Opulencia and a couple of other ones. I think this is a 5 for me.
I think maybe if we had this in a different Vitola, the scores could have been a little different. When I lit this up, I was at a 7 in my mind.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was right there.
I would have given it a 6 had I not had the.
Yeah,
the-
tasty, but as I'm in the final third, it's a little tough. I'm at a 6.
Okay,
I think that's a fair score.
5.8.
very close. Composite Lizard score is a 5.6,
Wow.
which is certainly on the lower end of the cigars that we've rated here. And I honestly am surprised based on how it lit, but I think very appropriate for the experience I had in this.
But you know what? You should maybe the listeners out there should try and maybe try different Vitolas.
Yeah, try the
Yeah,
Robusto first.
I think if we've learned anything, if there's hope for this cigar, this is a large ring gauge of it. We didn't get a ton of flavor. And so the only thing to produce more flavor is to get more of the wrapper and less of the filler, and that would be a smaller ring gauge. So if you're going to try it, to Rooster's point, try it in a smaller ring gauge,
Yeah.
and maybe that's going to serve
Honestly,
you better.
and if it were a bit shorter, I wouldn't get the ammonia I'm getting now.
Yeah.
I think it's worth pursuing for those guys that are looking to try something.
Yeah, I think that I think this is for a smoker who isn't smoking a ton of cigars. It wants a big ring gauge. Doesn't want something that's going to kick them in the ass. I think this cigar would be fine for them, and they may very well enjoy it versus some other lower budget versions of New World cigars that are just in our eyes, just not smokable. But you know, it's just mediocre at best.
To go back though, I think Bam maybe not intentionally used the word pursue. I would not say anyone should pursue this
don't
cigar
chase this.
as much as if you're in a pinch and you have to pick something up.
That's right.
If you get this in a smaller ring gauge, this may not be the worst thing.
Yeah.
But we might just be spoiled.
We are.
Kentucky smoking lizards.
But you know what though? That's to me that's why we're doing this. Is I wouldn't share this cigar with anybody that I know who could potentially want to have a cigar at any point. I would not recommend or share this cigar as a lizard sharing it. Despite our, we are spoiled. Yes,
Right.
it's.
But let's. I'm sorry. I just want to
We're
give us a
reasonable,
little bit
though.
of
We're
credit.
reasonable.
We're reasonable in that we rated a tiny little $5, $4 even Tatuaje Petit Cazador as an 8 point something.
It was
8.3.
Right. So,
Absolutely.
we just want a cigar that's got a lot of flavor, that's going to be really satisfying, and that is as good in the first half as it is in the second, or as good in the last third as it is the first.
That's right.
And this just didn't do it.
And don't forget about the Liga 9 that we ranked very high.
There's another New World.
Yeah, that was a
There's
fabulous
a lot,
cigar.
And listen, there's a lot more coming. So I mean, not every cigar that we smoke is going to be a 7, 8, or a 9. I mean, there's going to be some like this, and I'm sure at some point we'll come back to My Father and see what we find. But for now, boys,
I mean, this might be somebody's favorite cigar. Who
it could
knows?
very
I
well.
mean,
You know what? And
it's-
if that floats their boat, good for them.
It's part of the journey,
Yeah.
really.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, boys, a 5.6 for
be your own judge.
My Father, the Judge. Oh man, and an 8.4 for the Robert Howell. Robert Craig. Damn it, I did that again. Robert Craig Howell Mountain.
Cuvee.
Cuvee. Very good. All right, boys. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.